My dad demanded that I pay off my brother's $80,000 debt. So I changed my number and moved to another state without telling anyone. Friends, your love keeps this channel alive. Please hit subscribe and don't forget to say hi in the comments with your city or country. We read them all. The call came at 2 in the morning. I was deep in sleep after a brutal 12-hour shift at the hospital when my phone exploded with my father's ringtone. My heart hammered as I grabbed it, thinking someone had died. Keisha, baby, I need you to do something for your brother. Dad's voice cracked through the speaker, thick with desperation. I sat up, fully awake now. What happened? Is Ronnie okay? He's in trouble. Real trouble. He owes some people money and they're threatening him. $80,000. The number hung in the air like smoke. $80,000. I made decent money as a surgical nurse, but that was nearly 2 years of my salary before taxes. The money I'd been saving for the down payment on my first house. Dad, how did he? That doesn't matter right now. What matters is family. You're the only one who can help him. You've got that good job, that savings account. Your brother needs you. My stomach twisted. This wasn't the first time Ronnie had gotten into trouble. There was the DUI I'd helped pay for 3 years ago. The credit card debt I'd cleared 2 years before that. The business opportunity that cost me 10 grand and disappeared like morning fog. Dad, I can't. His voice hardened. Or won't. Your own flesh and blood is in danger and you're worried about money? I raised you better than that, Keisha. Family comes first. Always. I stared at the darkness of my bedroom, feeling something shift inside me. Something that would change everything. I didn't sleep after that call. Instead, I lay there remembering every piano recital Ronnie missed while I sat in the audience alone. Remembering every parent-teacher conference where Mom gushed about Ronnie's potential while my straight-A report card gathered dust on the kitchen counter. Ronnie was 28, 3 years younger than me, and he'd been my parents' son since the day he was born. When he dropped out of college junior year, Dad called it finding himself. When I'd wanted to take a semester off to work and save money, they'd called me irresponsible. By 6 a.m. I was at my kitchen table with coffee and my laptop, pulling up my bank statements. $73,000. 7 years of careful saving, coupon clipping, and saying no to vacations. Every dollar earned through double shifts and holiday overtime. My phone buzzed. Mom, this time. Your father told me about Ronnie. When can you get the money together? Not, can you help, but when. The assumption settled over me like a heavy coat. Mom, that's my entire savings. My house fund. Houses can wait, Keisha. Your brother can't. Do you want something to happen to him? The manipulation was so smooth I almost didn't catch it. Almost. Who does he owe? Boss. Some business associates. A deal gone wrong. What kind of business associates? What kind of deal? Does it matter? He's your brother. Mattered so much. I called Ronnie directly, something I should have done immediately. He answered on the 5th ring, voice thick with sleep or something else. Keisha. Dad told you. Tell me exactly what happened, Ronnie. All of it. He sighed and I heard movement, maybe him sitting up. It was supposed to be easy money. This guy Damon, he runs this investment thing. Cryptocurrency. He promised guaranteed returns and I believed him. My hands tightened around my phone. You gave someone $80,000 for cryptocurrency without researching it? I didn't have $80,000. I borrowed it. From some guys Damon connected me with. Private lenders. Loan sharks. The words tasted bitter. You borrowed $80,000 from loan sharks for a crypto scheme. It wasn't supposed to be a scheme. Damon showed me portfolios, testimonials. His cousin Janelle made 50 grand in 3 months. I thought. You thought you'd get rich quick without working for it. Again. Silence. Then defensive. You don't understand what it's like, Keisha. You've always had your shit together. Perfect grades, perfect job, perfect life. Some of us aren't like that. Some of us need opportunities. I'd heard this song before. The refrain where my success became a weapon against me, where my hard work was reframed as luck or privilege. When's the money due? 2 weeks. They're charging 5% interest weekly. If I don't pay. He didn't finish, but I heard the fear underneath the entitlement. Dad insisted on a family meeting. Sunday dinner at their house in Stone Mountain, like we were discussing vacation plans instead of financial ruin. I drove there with my stomach in knots, past the neighborhood where I'd grown up, where nothing ever seemed to change. Mom had made Ronnie's favorite, fried chicken, mac and cheese, collard greens. The prodigal son's feast. I got a nod and a wash your hands when I walked in. Ronnie sat at the table looking haggard, but there was something else in his expression. Expectation. Certainty. He knew I'd cave because I always had. So, Keisha, Dad started loading his plate. Your mother and I have been thinking. You could take out a loan against your 401k. That way you wouldn't have to drain your whole savings. I set down my fork carefully. You've been planning how to spend my retirement fund? Don't be dramatic, Mom said. We're trying to help you help your brother. Help me. This helps me how exactly? Dad's jaw tightened. It helps you keep your brother safe. It helps you keep this family together. It helps you do the right thing. The right thing, I repeated slowly. What about the right thing being Ronnie facing consequences for once? What about Ronnie getting a job and making payments? What about Ronnie fixing his own mess? He can't work. They'll find him. Ronnie burst out. These people are dangerous, Keisha. They know where I live. They've already slashed my tires twice. I looked at him, really looked at him. Designer sneakers. New Apple Watch. Fresh haircut that cost more than my monthly grocery budget. When did they slash your tires, Ronnie? He blinked. What? You said they slashed your tires twice. When? Last week. Both times. I pulled out my phone, opened Instagram and turned it toward him. This you at Compound last night? Bottle service section? That's a $300 minimum. His face went red. I needed to blow off steam. With whose money? My voice stayed level, but something was crystallizing inside me, hard and cold. You're so scared, so broke, so desperate, but you're dropping $300 at the club? Keisha, that's not fair, Mom started. No. What's not fair is working myself to exhaustion while Ronnie coasts. What's not fair is sacrificing everything I've earned for someone who treats money like Monopoly cash. What's not fair is being treated like the family ATM instead of a person. Dad stood up, his chair scraping loud against the floor. You watch your tone. We're still your parents. Then act like it. Act like you care about me, not just what I can give you. The words erupted from somewhere deep, somewhere I'd kept locked for years. The room went silent except for the kitchen clock ticking. Dad's face darkened. You're being selfish. After everything we've done for you. What have you done for me, Dad? Seriously, what? You paid for Ronnie's car when he wrecked his. You paid his rent when he got evicted. You gave him money for his business ventures. What did you give me? We raised you. You raised us both. The difference is I grew up. The silence after my words felt like glass, sharp, fragile, ready to shatter. Ronnie pushed back from the table, his chair screeching against the hardwood floor Mom polished every Saturday without fail. You know what, Keisha? I always knew you thought you were better than me. His voice shook with anger or maybe humiliation. Miss Perfect Nurse with her perfect apartment and her perfect savings. You ever think maybe I needed support instead of judgment? I gave you $10,000 for that consulting business that never existed. I paid your lawyer fees for the DUI. I co-signed your first apartment lease and paid 3 months' rent when you ghosted the landlord. What do you call that? Mom's hand flew to her chest. You never told us about the apartment. Because he asked me not to. Because he said you'd be disappointed. I've been cleaning up his messes quietly for years and I'm done. Dad stepped closer and I saw something in his face I'd never seen before. Desperation mixed with rage. If you don't help him and something happens to Ronnie, that's on you. You'll have to live with that. Can you live with your brother getting hurt because you wanted to save up for some house? The manipulation was so naked it almost made me laugh. Almost. If something happens to Ronnie, it's because of Ronnie's choices. Not mine. Never mine again. Fine. Dad's voice went cold. Then maybe you should leave. If you can't be there for this family, maybe you're not part of this family. I left my parents' house at 8:30 p.m., drove straight past my apartment, and ended up at my best friend Shanice's place. She took one look at my face and poured wine without asking. Talk. I told her everything. The debt, the ultimatum, the years of enabling, the threat disguised as love. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. What do you want to do? I don't know. Part of me feels guilty. He's my brother. Keisha, honey, I'm going to say something and I need you to really hear me. Being family doesn't mean being a doormat. It doesn't mean sacrificing your future for someone who refuses to build their own. But I couldn't shake it. The years of conditioning, the voice saying good daughters help, good sisters sacrifice. So I did something I should have done earlier. I researched. It took 3 hours and some creative Googling, but I found Damon Mitchell's investment opportunity. Reviews from angry clients, a Better Business Bureau complaint, an ongoing investigation by the State Attorney General's office. It wasn't cryptocurrency. It was a pyramid scheme and Ronnie hadn't been scammed. He tried to become a recruiter, tried to scam others and failed. Then I found something worse. The loan sharks Ronnie owed? They didn't exist. I found the same story word for word on a debt relief forum from 6 months ago. Different names, same amount, same threatening details. Ronnie had copied someone else's story. He was lying. About all of it. I showed up at Ronnie's apartment at 7 a.m. Tuesday morning, coffee in hand like a peace offering, my phone full of screenshots like ammunition. He answered in gym shorts and a Lakers jersey, surprised but already smiling like he'd won. Hey. Listen, about Sunday. Tell me about Damon Mitchell. His smile faltered. What? I pushed past him into the apartment. It was nice, too nice for someone supposedly in debt. 70-inch TV, PlayStation 5, furniture that didn't come from IKEA. I pulled up the screenshot on my phone. Damon Mitchell. Currently under investigation for running a pyramid scheme. You weren't investing, Ronnie. You were recruiting. You tried to scam people and when nobody bit, you panicked. That's not, I didn't know. And these loan sharks? I showed him the forum post. This exact story, word for word, posted by someone in Ohio 6 months ago. You copied it. There are no loan sharks. There's no 80,000 in debt. There's just you trying to manipulate me into funding your lifestyle. He sat down heavily on his expensive couch. For a moment he looked like he might confess, might finally be honest. Then his face hardened. So what if I exaggerated? You have the money, Keisha. I'm struggling. Is it really so wrong to ask family for help? Help would be asking for job interview tips. This is fraud. You manufactured an emergency to steal my savings. I wouldn't have to if you weren't so tight with your money. We grew up in the same house. Why do you get to have everything? The entitlement was breathtaking. I didn't tell Ronnie what I was planning. I didn't tell anyone except Shanice, and only because I needed someone to know in case things went sideways. That night I started making lists. what I owned, what I needed, where I could go. My apartment lease ended in 6 weeks. Perfect timing. I'd been at Emory University Hospital for 5 years, long enough to have solid references but not so long I couldn't leave. I started searching for nursing positions in other states. Seattle, Denver, Portland. Anywhere far enough that surprise visits weren't possible. Portland had an opening at OHSU Hospital. Similar pay, lower cost of living, 3,000 miles from Georgia. I applied at 2 a.m., updated my resume at 3 a.m., and practiced interview questions until sunrise. Meanwhile, Ronnie and my parents kept calling. First it was daily, then hourly. The messages evolved from guilt trips to anger to threats. Dad, you have 1 week to do the right thing. Mom, how can you sleep at night knowing what you're putting your brother through? Ronnie, I hope you're happy. Whatever happens to me is because of you. I blocked them all. Changed my work schedule so they couldn't ambush me there. Stopped going to familiar places. It felt dramatic, but they'd shown up at my apartment twice, banging on the door, shouting about family loyalty loud enough for neighbors to hear. Shanice found me sitting on her couch Friday night, scrolling through Portland apartment listings. You're really doing this? I'm really doing this. Good. You deserve better than being their scapegoat. The interview went better than expected. The hiring manager, a woman named Patricia Sweeney with kind eyes and efficient manner, seemed impressed by my experience in surgical trauma. We talked for 90 minutes. She offered me the position before we hung up. Can you start in 4 weeks? Absolutely. I gave notice at work the next day, told them family circumstances required relocation. My manager, Dr. Williams, didn't pry but pulled me aside. Keisha, in 5 years I've never seen you take a sick day. You're always early, always willing to cover shifts. Whatever you're dealing with, I hope you know you're valued. You'll be missed. The words caught me off guard. Valued. Missed. Simple concepts that felt revolutionary. That afternoon while packing books, my doorbell rang. I ignored it. Then came knocking. Then my phone, a number I didn't recognize. Against my better judgment, I answered. Keisha? It's Aunt Diane. My father's sister. We'd always been close, at least until recent years when family gatherings became performances of Ronnie worship. Aunt Diane, I can't. Baby, just listen. Your father called me, told me you're refusing to help Ronnie. He asked me to talk sense into you. My heart sank. But I'm not calling for that, she continued. I'm calling because I need to tell you something I should have said years ago. You're not wrong about any of it. And you're not crazy. Ronnie has been enabled his whole life and it's destroyed him. I sat down hard on my couch. Aunt Diane didn't sugarcoat anything. She told me about the Christmas when Ronnie stole money from her purse, $200, and how Mom made excuses. About the time he'd borrowed Aunt Diane's car and returned it with a broken mirror and empty gas tank, no apology offered. About the pattern nobody wanted to acknowledge because it was easier to keep peace than demand accountability. Your parents love Ronnie, she said. But they've confused loving him with protecting him from consequences. And you've been paying the price your whole life. Why didn't you say something before? Because I was a coward. Because families don't air dirty laundry. Because I thought maybe I was overreacting. She paused. But when your father called yesterday talking about how you were abandoning Ronnie, I realized silence makes me complicit. So I'm breaking it now. Whatever you're planning, whatever you need to do to protect yourself, do it. You don't owe them your future. After we hung up, I cried. Not sad tears exactly, but something cleaner. Relief maybe. Validation. The knowledge that I wasn't imagining things, wasn't overreacting, wasn't the villain in my own story. My phone buzzed. Ronnie from a new number. Dad had a heart attack. You need to come to the hospital now. My blood went cold. then hot, then cold again as I called Aunt Diane back. Is Dad in the hospital? What? Oh honey. I just talked to him an hour ago. He's fine. Ronnie had faked a medical emergency. Actually faked a heart attack to manipulate me. I hired movers for a Tuesday, choosing a date I knew my family would be busy. Ronnie had a standing card game, Mom had her book club, Dad had bowling league. The universe was handing me a window and I took it. Everything I owned fit into a 16-foot truck. 5 years of adult life, carefully curated, ready to transport. The apartment looked empty but not sad. More like clean. Like a reset. Shanice helped me load the last boxes, her eyes red but determined not to cry. You're going to crush it in Portland. Those Pacific Northwest people don't know what's about to hit them. Visit me. Try and stop me. I drove away at 4 p.m. watching Atlanta shrink in my rearview mirror. No dramatic goodbyes, no final confrontations. Just quiet, decisive action. I'd changed my number the week before, kept the new one close. Only Shanice, my new employer and essential contacts had it. Somewhere around Chattanooga, my old phone, which I'd kept active but silenced, started blowing up. They'd discovered I was gone. 37 calls in 2 hours. Texts ranging from concerned to furious to threatening. Dad, if you think you can just leave, you're wrong. You'll be back. You'll need something eventually. Mom, I can't believe you'd abandon us like this. After everything. Ronnie, you're dead to me. I hope you know that. You're not my sister anymore. That last one stung less than I expected. Maybe because it felt honest in a way nothing else had been. Portland welcomed me with rain, which felt appropriate. Fresh start, clean slate, all those cliches that turned out to be true. My new apartment was smaller but had a view of the city and Mount Hood in the distance. Hugh Hospital felt immediately right. Busy but organized, demanding but supportive. I made friends slowly. Went to Powell's Books and spent too much money. Hiked Forest Park on weekends. Learned to make good coffee because Portland took coffee seriously. Built a life that was mine alone, untethered from expectations and manipulation. 6 months in, Aunt Diane called my new number. I'd given it to her with strict instructions. Your father's asking about you. How is everyone? Ronnie got a job. Warehouse work. Your parents are adjusting to the idea that they can't fix everything for him. It's hard but maybe necessary. She paused. He paid off some actual debt. Turns out he owed friends money. Small amounts but real. He's learning. That's good. They miss you. I miss you. I miss you too, Aunt Diane. But you're better off? I looked around my apartment at the life I'd built without compromise or guilt. At the peace that came from boundaries and self-respect. Yeah. I'm better off. Some families love conditionally, their affection dependent on your usefulness. Walking away felt like betrayal until I realized staying would have been betraying myself. That $80,000 debt wasn't about money. It was about breaking a cycle of enabling and learning that love without respect isn't really love at all. I never moved back to Georgia. And I never regretted leaving.